To go into your roof properties, what you need to do is double click on a roof plane. You can select right click and go to properties, or you can select and click on the properties tool at the top. Now in first glance, you can see the roof label right there. Next option is what is called a pivot line, meaning where is the pivot line going to be placed? The fascia would be the very bottom point of your overhang right there. The default baseline is basically considered as being the load bearing point or connection point right there. And then we look at the very top end being the apex. We can have a look at this in 3D as well. As mentioned, the bottom of your overhang, that would be considered your fascia. The connection point on the load bearing point right there would be considered as your default. And then you get to the very top point right there at the apex. Now what this controls when changing between the pivot lines right there, you can see what the actual measured height is from the ground floor level. And then at that point, what you can control is the actual pitch. If we select the fascia right there and we would change the pitch from the fascia, as mentioned, it is going to be using that as the pivot point. If I change my pitch from that point right there, let's say for example to 10 degrees, I will change it and click rebuild. It uses my fascia as the pivot point. If I change it again from the fascia right there, back to 25 degrees, and I hit rebuild, you can see it changes it back to normal. When going into that option again, and I go to my default baseline, changing the pitch to 10 degrees, rebuild, you can see it changed from that baseline right there. You can change this back to be 25 degrees on the baseline, on the default baseline. And you can also take it from the top point right there to the plane options and then go to the top, change the top pitch to be 10 degrees so you can see what it is using as the pivot point right there. Let's return this back to normal. And that is the change of the pitch within the properties.